So non-local anomalies in physics on the psi research point to a cosmic hyperdimension of consciousness energy. This is the subject of my talk. As you see on this image, you see, this is a representation that I did of the golden spiral, of course not in perfect dimension, of at the origin, which is like an infinite spiral staircase, on each step having a specific hyper frequency. So you have, from the white hole of the origin, you have this golden spiral, which is driven by pi and phi, and which is going to go all the way to the Higgs, to create the Higgs field in my theory. Non-locality is evidenced in psi research and in-depth psychology when Carl Jung deems the unconscious trans-spatial and trans-temporal, in our terms now, non-local, sorry. Pauli and Jung, Pauli was working with Jung, and we have a wonderful correspondence. They explained psi and synchronicities. I'm talking about Wolfgang Pauli, the physicist, quantum physicist. They explain psi and synchronicities, which are meaningful coincidences, as a dimension blending psyche and matter energy. And Pauli saw it as a reality deeper than quantum mechanics, meaning that it was below Planck-scale, which is very interesting. And Jung defined it as a dimension, the dimension of interrelations, acausal, meaningful, that is the one field, cosmic consciousness. In physics, non-locality is evidenced by 4 different processes. The entanglement between 2 particles deems 2 times c. So maybe you are not agreeing with what I'm going to say, but a group of scientists are okay with what I'm saying. And I'm part of them. Non-matter dark energy has been proposed to be faster than light, a quintessence. And the only thing we know about it is that it is non-matter. So this is a prediction, let's say. The hyperspeed of the inflation phase, has been corroborated by gravitational waves. After Planck-scale, some scientists put it at 10 power minus 32, other ones minus 36 of the first second. Is the point universe has bloated 10 power 50 times, and this has been translated as a speed of million times c. The sub-Planck region is by definition non-local because it is before Planck-scale, where space-time and the matter are going to be born with the first quantum. And there is, at this Planck-scale, a totally unexplained energy, immense energy, that must have a source, which is, of course, below Planck-scale. Okay. And so in psi experimental research, psi is a mental process. This is about the only thing that all psi researchers agree on. It's a mental process. However, it shows experimentally with very high sigma proof, like 5 or 6 sigma proof, as you can see that in a Stefan Schwartz article of 2021. We show that some processes happen beyond brain and beyond space-time. Since it allows interconnection at a distance, it operates despite EM shielding, it shows an inverse time arrow in precognition. It contradicts the indeterminate Newtonian. It's driven unconsciously, as in Global Consciousness Project. Okay. Why non-local anomalies matter? Because they point to a dimension beyond space-time. So you can either have a meta-dimension. The hyperdimension has been already proposed on the developed by all kinds of scientists. I am going with the work of Rondal on syndrome model with, at the same time, the hyperdimension being at the same time a bulk, meaning a quasi-space, hyperspace that extended in quasi-space, and at the same time below Planck-scale as a 5D, as proposed by Kaluza and Klein. So Rondal syndrome has the two aspects of the compact below Planck-scale. Okay, that's the one I use. In the infinite staircase, a spiral staircase theory that I proposed in 2015, I have the mind as Sikh field, having hyperdimensional now properties and dynamics, Sig energy, which is creating the dynamical networks of the Sikh field, which is the higher hyperdimensional part of our mind-body system. Sig energy is made of tachyonic Sigon waves, HD hyperdimensional strings that create non-local interconnectedness among Sig field, and the self is our hyperdimensional subject, which is, of course, now endowed with a capacity because of Sig energy being hyperspeed, tachyonic, and creating connection in a way that is totally non-local, impervious to any kind of constraints of space-time. Our hyperdimensional self is now endowed with some kind of supraconscious capacities. So I have three, if we were taking only the anomalies that we saw in physics, we would have to, in order to explain them, we need, as I said, a meta-dimension, a hyperdimension, and we would need only either hyperspace or hyperspace plus hypertime. But if we are now taking also in consideration the anomalies, to try to explain the anomalies we have in a psi experiment, then we have to add to this hyperspace, hypertime, we have to add a hyperdimension of cosmic consciousness. And my hyperdimension is donc, of course, three components. Hyperspace, space and time in the hyperdimension become, take on qualitative data, qualitative properties. Also, space become center and order, and with a system boundary, which is a circle, center circle. Time becomes rhythm and resonance on the capacity of Sigon waves to become to get into coherence. So it explains the coherence aspect that we have in some physics. Okay, here is a Sig field of a bird. Okay, our hyperdimensional self become, as I said, non-local, psi-endo, supraconscious. I did not dare, of course, putting this name. All spontaneous interconnection with resonant, similar Sig field imply an inter-influence. So this is very interesting in the hyperdimension. You don't have any kind of link which is not two-way, and you don't have any link which is not an inter-influence of one or the other, which means which means that one could have an influence on the other, but you understand that because the hyperdimension is inside, at the core of particles of any space-time coordinates, and because it is also a bulk surrounding and pervading the space-time, the matter universe, it has the capacity of influencing matter. So the third, as I said, the third component of the one is hyperspace is center circle. The other one is rhythm rotation. And I'm so glad that this rhythm hyperdimensional component can explain things that, as Margaret was showing us, like the in sync in between the dog and the master. Okay. Some HD spiritual state can be modeled by ISST, a state of shared consciousness, which I call telepathic harmonic field, during group prayer, group meditation, jump session, for example, the shows on what we saw, the harmonization and coherence of at the level of our hyperdimensional self, which are getting into some kind of hyper resonance on sympathy of rhythms, of the rhythm element. Okay. Some HD, another HD spiritual set is which I have modeled. Those are articles that you can find, as I will put back the name. Okay. The effective visualization of future event. Visualization is a technique to shape future event according to what we want. I have modeled it as a retrocausal attractor, meaning that the operator in her mind or their mind are projecting images, desire, feelings that they want to achieve during, for example, this future event. But given the fact that this is done through the hyperdimensional component of the mind of the operator, it creates, and it is happening in hyperdimensional, the event, the future event that she is projecting is a SIG constellation, a semantic SIG constellation or SIG field, which is somehow encroached in the future. So this is an event in making that is not exactly, it's hyperdimensional, meaning that it is a state of flow between lines of probability, and the more she's going to project images on feelings, the more it's going to give weight to some probable path, and then make the event happen the way she wants. So this is how our mind's hyperdimensional self, in phase with our body, neuronal brain, are able to shape and influence events. Okay, now the ISST also portends maverick implication. The first one is that if any particle has HD SIG field, and given the wave-particle duality, then its wave component should be hyperdimensional. And then that would explain, so here on the bottom, you see the, sorry, excuse me, sorry, this is, sorry. Then it would lead to David Bohm's pilot wave being explained as the pilot wave being now a hyperdimensional second wave that, because of our hyperdimensional SIG field, which is our self with a big S, then could be modulated and steered by the self and the mind. So we could have, well, what David Bohm was hoping is that the mind could be the one steering the parallel wave. In ISST, the entanglement is hyperdimensional. The pair particle with opposite spin, they are entangled. Let's not forget that. They are entangled because they are issued from one unique source. So at this one unique source, which is here in the picture, on the bottom is the hyperdimensional level, on the top part is the space-time level, okay? Here in the hyperdimension, the source has one unique Sikh field. There is all system, whatever the scale in the universe, from the particle to the universe itself, have a Sikh field. The Sikh field of the particle here is a unique one at the source. And when the two particles are starting to, and it makes, you know, one system with the two particles that are ejected from the source. So they keep basically one unique Sikh field, which implies in the Sikh field, embeds the opposite spins of the two particles. And whenever the particles are getting a distance in space-time, then it does not change anything about the Sikh field of this system, which could be more complex, by the way. That's what we see now, two particles on the source. So it doesn't matter at all what kind of distance is the particles are taking in space-time, because this is another dimension. On the hyperdimension, it's just one field. So this, in my opinion, is the complementarity of the two opposite spins of the two particles are kept together by rhythm, the rhythm component, the fact that the rotation creates a rhythm, the spins, the two spins create a rhythm, and this is rhythm component of the hyperdimension, which is keeping the system of the opposite spin, the law of spin of Wolfgang Pauli. Okay, so this is a kind of possible modelization that we can do with such a system, hyperdimensional theory, that we can at the same time explain things at the physics, the weirdness of some quantum physics processes, and we can at the same time, as we saw, explain things that are happening in the brain. For example, this retrocausal attractor, which I'm going to present soon at the Chaos Conference, is the possibility to explain Libet retroactive back referral, yes, and back referral discovery in the brain, because this retrocausal attractor, I model it as being really deep, the hyperdimensional system on dynamics deep inside the brain, but hyperdimensional, so that I realized while taking this modelization from my first theory to the hyperdimensional side of it, I realized that this could explain also any kind of micro anticipation, intention, not only visualization, but the micro visualization of any movement, any action we are going to do. So those, the hyperdimensional theory is able to explain a lot of things, in my opinion, and from the anomalies problems that we have in physics and in psi, it is, I'm absolutely convinced that anyway, we will need hyperdimension to explain things. It may not be this model, it may be another one, but the hyperdimension with the consciousness aspect is absolutely, totally imparable. We cannot, unavoidable.